For this next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make ear wire. They're very, very easy, and I think everyone that makes earrings should at least know how to make a basic ear wire. I'm not an expert wire wrapper. I just want to put that out there. But one thing I do know how to make are ear wires, and they're very, very easy. So let me tell you, I'm going to have a list of tools, the tools that I use in the different sizes in under the video. So that way I don't have to, go through all these. But I like to name mine. This is Bob. This is Sue. So it's because, and I'll tell you why. Because when you start making these, ear wire, you want to definitely take notes because, you can use 18 gauge, 20 gauge, 22 gauge. Those are the gauges that I recommend. And then you want to, once you start experimenting with different mandrel sizes, I mean, you really need to know what pliers you use, what size you use, and, stuff like that. Because I have a whole bunch of different mandrels here that I use. I like this size for like hoops, but the thing is, you really want to take notes because if you make one that you really like the size and the style of, and you just want to go back to it. I mean, there's a lot that you need to remember. I mean, especially with, just the sizes and the tools and everything. So what I do is I make notes, and a couple of things you'll need is, which I'll list these in the tools below, but you really want to have a chasing hammer. And what a chasing hammer is it's rounded on the end, so that way when you harden, because after you make your ear wire, you need to get a metal block. I have one right here, like this. And you need to tap it so that the ear wire gets hardened, so that way it's not real like loose. Because the first few times I made earrings, the ear wire, let me see if I could find that horrible earring that I made. Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness. This thing, I did not know that you're supposed to harden the wire. See, I mean, this is called learning. See how it just completely, boom, got out of shape. But if you take your chasing hammer and you tap it, the metal hardens, and that way it keeps its shape. So this was actually my very first miserable failure earring, so you could see that. Anyway, so I prefer working with dead soft wire, and what that means is you could buy some wire that's like half hard and some that's hard. That means it's the harder it is, the less flexible it is. Like memory wire is really stiff, so no matter what you do to it, it just stays the same. I don't know how to explain it, but if the two wires that I like for making ear wire, I'll use gold filled if I have it, but I don't use gold filled because I like the bronze wire. But one thing you have to remember about bronze wire, for some reason, I guess it has something to do with just the composition, is that it is, even if it's dead soft, it's still a lot stiffer. So I mean, all these little things you learn when you start, making like anything with wire. But like I said, I'm not a super wire person, but I do know how to make ear wire, and I just think it's important to know just a couple of basic things. So aside from your chasing hammer and a block, and you want a block that's smooth. This one, I did a number on it. It's got all sorts of dings and stuff. So I use this side, which is smoother, because the reason you want a smooth side or a smooth block, or one that you just haven't gone nuts with like I did, is because whatever's on the block, when you start hammering it, it literally, it transfers to the metal, and it just doesn't look so good. See, on this side, I use, look how beautiful that is with the chasing hammer. You get a texture like this. You will not get that texture, because at first I said, I could just use any old hammer. So I had been using, oh my God, I'm embarrassed, this thing, and it looked terrible. There were like big gouges in the wire, and it's just, I just thought, people don't need to spend money on a chasing hammer. That's silly. But when I finally got one, I just absolutely love it. And I have a bigger one So, I mean, I'd prefer this one because it's got a smaller head, and like I said, I'll list it below. There are a couple of things you need to know when you're making an ear wire. Okay, so, and I'll talk about those right now. So, the the length of the wire, it makes a difference. As you can see, this one was made this one with a 2 3/4 inches, and this one I did with a 2.5 inches of wire. So, and these are both 18 gauge. Normally I use 20, but I'm using 18 because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So the first thing, let's say you cut out, you want to make one that's, let's say, this size. Okay, so it's really important that when you cut the ends, they're flush cut. Let me see. I think I have this one that is not. And I'll tell you. Okay. You could see this end. See how that is not flush cut. But this one is. So you'll need a pair of pliers they're called flush cutters. And the ones that I really, really like are these Tronics. It's the 7812. So when you cut wire, let me get a scrap. See, this side, when you cut it, this back side here, that's going to be the flush side. So when you cut it, it's super flat. But when you cut it, let's say on this side, this other side, it will be, it'll have like a little peak on it. And the reason you want both sides flush is because when you go to harden and hammer the ends, see how this one, it's kind of like a rounded, and then this other side will have like this thing like sticking out. Let me see if you can see that. Maybe is that the right one? Oh no, I cut it. But anyway, so when you hammer your end, you want it to not have that point, because if I didn't flush cut this, it would have that point, and you just have to spend a lot more time with your file, and it cuts off a lot of time. So what you want to do is make sure that both sides are flush cut. So let's flush cut this one. All right. There we go. And the plier that I'm going to be using is this one, the measurement on they're called bail making pliers, and this is measuring at about 9 1/4 millimeter. So what you do is you just put it, I'm going to use the large size. You just center your wire like that, and then you just start bending it side to side. Just a little on this side, because what you want to do is you want to get the ends to meet up. So you just kind of, that side goes a little more. And what I try to do is I try to bend them to where they kind of touch. Okay, that's good. See that? So what I do is I take it off, and then I take the smaller set of bail making pliers, and I'm going to use oh my goodness, I guess the small size, because I mark it. So that's just another thing you might want to think of when you're getting your tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl that end up, so it makes that loop like this. And you want to get it as close to the bite of the plier as possible. So that's pretty close, just like this. See that? And then what you do is you twirl it up until that end touches the wire. And if you want, you could finish there and then harden it, or you can get a pair of just a pair of any kind of plier, and just put like a little bend on the end like that. And then before I hammer it, one thing I don't know why, I just like to kind of make it touch just like that. And then I hammer. Now, I'm going to use, okay, this side. I'm going to have to hold this because, you know, if I hammer on this thing, it's going to make the camera shake. So when I start hammering, what I do is I hold it about right there. So because when you hammer, it'll start to expand. So you just want to gently just like start tapping it. See that? So then I just come in here. You want to like tap the entire thing, because if you don't harden the whole thing, it's going to have the weak spots. That's one thing I found out, because one time there was a part that I didn't hammer, and that was, the whole thing was strong except that one little weak spot. So you just kind of tap, tap. Okay, now this is the fun part. I always like to do the end part last. I'd like to give it a couple of good smacks to kind of make it nice and like a little paddle. Okay, so let me see. And when I do this side here, I'd like to do it like, because since this is domed, you can kind of like do it at an angle. So that way you don't just flatten the whole thing. It just kind of gives it a nice look. So that is basically how you do this. And the next thing, the final thing you want to do is you want to file the end, because it'll be a little bit sharp. So when you put it in your ears, it's going to like stab your ears. So what I do is I just I just buy a bunch of nail files like at the drugstore. I like to like make those edges that were square, I like to make them nice, and let's see if we can get that in there. See that? That's perfect. So the next thing, you know, if it's open here a little bit, you know, there's really no need to worry, because when you attach it to your earring, what you do is, well, at least what I do, is you don't want to like, you want to grab it from as much from the side as possible, because it's going to bend right in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it towards me. And while I'm bending it towards me, I'm going to kind of like try to push it that way. So when I go to close it, because if I were just to bend it towards me and put my earring on and then bend it back, it's going to have that gap. So the way I do that is when I open this, I kind of like bend it towards me, but bending a little bit that way. So you put your earring on, and then you come back, get your plier, and then kind of bend it towards the base, so that way it's nice and closed. So there you have it. So basically it's that easy. All you need is a mandrel, your wire, and you just kind of bend it around and just curl one side up. The fun part is, you know, just trying different sizes of mandrels, so you get like different styles of like earrings. It's just so much fun. So on this one, I used where's that mandrel? I used this guy, and like this is number one was like I think too small, so did I bother with that one? I don't think so. But see, so I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because I thought maybe the 8 would be too big, but you know, so that's what, you know, so I have taped the, you know, just all the information, different wires and mandrels that I used. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video.